Hey there, welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuck with Queen Bee Creations, and you are joining me for 30 days of Christmas ornaments. And this one's falling somewhere in the midst of those 30 days. So what we are going to be doing is kind of zhuzhing up a plain ornament. Now, this one came thrifted in a big bag of them. You can buy them from the dollar store. You probably have old ornaments. We're just gonna zhuzh it up a little bit, have a bit of fun. To do that, I want to put thick paint into this little bottle that has an attachable nozzle. Now these are, you can get these as dotting tools. I have a bunch of them that I've gotten from Amazon, some with metal ends on them for my alcohol inks, you know, for applying alcohol. I just usually have a bunch of them on hand. This is one that I thrifted because when I see them, I know I'm gonna use them. So I'll try and remember to drop a link to Amazon, but pretty easy to find, small little nozzle. If you don't have this, but you have a pastry bag with a little fine nozzle, you could use that. I mean, obviously a disposable one. You don't want to be cleaning the paint out of it. So you could use like an old pastry bag or a brand new disposable one. You could, what else could you use? You just want it to be fairly fine, right? You'll see, you can do this any thickness that you want. But what I do want to do is fill it with a thicker acrylic paint. I want acrylic so that it dries pretty hard on the outside. So my acrylic paint that I have, because I'm doing white and I just happen to have a big tub of white, I just want to show you without using my finger. This is how thick. See how it just holds its shape. So acrylics come in so many different varieties in terms of thickness. You can get liquid acrylics. That's not what I'm using. I'm using the thicker kind. Often comes in tubes. You can use a product like DIY has a product called paint frosting that you could mix with your paint, any liquid paint, to thicken it to the desired thickness, but that's what we're after. And so I'm just going to pump some paint into my little container here, and then we'll get started. So what we are going to do with this is create raised designs on our ball. So you can do any kind of picture that you want. You can draw leaves or trees or whatever you feel like doing. I'm going to start by doing okay, I apparently can't talk and do it at the same time. I'm going to do some scrolls. Now, one of the things that you want to be cautious of is that once you get some on there, you're going to want to hold it so that your fingers are out of the way. I can start by holding it this way. And you want to have something on hand right away to be able to hang it to dry. So you just have to be careful not to be smudging. But I'm just freehanding because it works pretty well. Now I can do, let's try a couple of leaves. So I can do a dot and then just drag that. Okay, and you can see that it's nice and raised. It's gonna look great on the ball. Now, you could do the entire ball. You could just do the top portion of the ball, leave the bottom bare. I'm kind of thinking that might be a cool look. But we're just going to carry on with our scrolls and see how it goes. So just nice, even pressure. And if you notice, when I'm doing those long lines, I'm actually holding this above the ball so that I'm letting the paint fall rather than pushing it onto the ball. And it comes out beautiful, nice and smooth. And we can just carry on. Okay, I might have to get more balls out because this is pretty fun. All right, our baubles have had a chance to dry. So let's take a look. This is the one that we started to work on together, and I just decided to kind of only take the design down part way, but look at how lovely that is, how much that stands out. Now I did this one on the dark color in kind of scrolls, and then I did this one on more of a turquoisey kind of color with leaves. And then I wanted to try a sparkle bulb because I know that some of you would. And I just did kind of nice dotted patterns coming down. So I love these. I like the fact that the design is raised. I think that that gives good definition to it. That little squeeze bottle just works perfectly for this. Obviously, if your paint is too thick, it's not going to squeeze out, and you don't want it too runny because then your design's just going to drip. So you need to kind of get that sweet spot. My thick acrylic just out of the jar was perfect. It didn't need any help. So it worked great. The only thing that I will say is that make sure that you are periodically cleaning off the nozzle and that you are shaking, oops, that you're shaking your paint down to the tips so that you don't end up, perfectly fine, you don't end up with air. There was a couple of spots where I was squeezing and all of a sudden there was a little poof of air that came out, and that was because I had been going a long time and I hadn't shaken more of the paint down to the tip. So do that periodically in between some of your shapes, and you get great detail and definition, and I think that these are just super lovely. And I think kids could have a lot of fun with using the squeeze bottle and squeezing on their own designs, whatever they may happen to be. But you don't need kids to have fun with doing this one. Let me know what you think. Love to hear from you as always, and looking forward to seeing you on the next video. Until then, take care.